I put together 14 tips and strategies on how to earn onboard credit, discounted cruises, and even free cruises that don't involve the casino. And stay tuned, because I'm also going to share my exact strategy of how I cruise full-time, living bougie on a budget. Hi everyone, I'm Laura, and welcome to Living on Cruise Control, where 1 year ago I left the corporate grind to pursue my dream of living full-time on cruise ships. Today we are in Cartagena, Spain. It is absolutely beautiful. It's March 17th. It's actually St. Patrick's Day. Temperature today is going to be in the mid-60s, and couldn't be more perfect to go spend the day in Spain. Okay, let's start with tip number 1. Future cruise deposits. So depending on the cruise line, you can purchase a future cruise deposit when you are on a current cruise. How this works specifically on Princess is you can purchase as many future cruise deposits as you want to. At one time I bought 10 because I knew I was going to be booking 10 cruises and I wanted to earn the benefits of this perk. So each deposit on Princess is $100 and you can use it for the next year. What I like about the future cruise deposit is if you don't wind up booking a cruise in those 12 months, you actually get that $100 back. So it's fully refundable. With that $100 deposit, you also get onboard credit. And that onboard credit can vary depending on the length of your cruise. So for shorter cruises, the onboard credit is less. I believe it starts at $50 up to $250. I'll put an exact chart right here in the video so you can see what the Princess perk is. But you can only purchase these deposits when you're actually on a cruise. So think about your plans over the next 12 months. It can't help to purchase maybe 1 or 2 just to have them in your back pocket, knowing that they are fully refundable, and you just don't want to leave free onboard credit on the table when there's really no additional cost or risk to that onboard credit. So that is a perk I definitely use and recommend. Tip number 2 is shareholder onboard credit for Carnival Cruise Lines, which actually owns multiple cruise lines, including Carnival, Princess, Holland America, Cunard, etc. I just wanted to be clear that I am not a stockbroker or financial advisor, although I was a stockbroker for Vanguard before I got into the recruiting industry. However, I'm not a stock expert by any means, so this is not stock advice. However, if you own 100 shares of Carnival stock as of now, you are eligible for shareholder onboard credit perks. And how that works is, again, depending on the length of your cruise, you will get additional onboard credit. And I will do an entire video of this process and post a link to it in the description as soon as it's ready, of how to become eligible for this perk, how to submit your cruise to receive this onboard credit, etc. To really make this process simple and easy to follow. It's actually very easy. Carnival uses an app called Stock Perks that you can just download to your phone or onto your computer. You put in your information and link it to prove that you actually have 100 shares of Carnival stock. You only need 100 shares, but you need to have a minimum of 100 shares. At this time, this is how the perk works. And depending on the length of your cruise, you can get anywhere from $50 up to $250. I'll put a chart here that shows what the current stock perk benefit is as of the filming of this video, and then I'll walk you through the entire process as a follow-up. But basically, you can add this onboard credit. Now, here's an insider tip. For Princess casino offers, you can actually stack on top shareholder benefits and get that additional onboard credit. I do know, though, that again, as of now, for a Holland America or a Carnival cruise, you cannot add them to your casino cruise offers, has been my experience I tried to do it on a Holland America offer and it didn't work. And other people have told me that it doesn't work on Carnival either, but it does work on Princess. I have a Cunard cruise coming up that's taking me from Southampton to New York City. So I'm going to try to see if it works on Cunard. This is kind of a unique cruise comp that I was able to obtain. However, I'm not sure how Cunard works with stacking them on top of casino offers, but I'll find out for you. This is a great perk, and here's how I would go about evaluating if this perk is worth it or not. Again, it's going to depend on what the current price of a Carnival share is, and then thinking about how often are you going to use this perk and what is the risk of that share going up or down in value. And so you have to evaluate the risk of being in the stock market. It's similar to the risk of going into the casino. You can win or you can lose. And I purchased the stock right before I started cruising, and I've been able to use it on every single cruise that I've done for the last 14 months. And for the rest of 2026, I have this perk added as onboard credit to all of my cruises. So for me personally, it was a huge benefit. However, there is a risk always in entering the stock market, and I would really look at how often are you going to use this perk, and is it going to be a benefit to you to have this additional onboard credit? If you only plan on cruising one of the Carnival cruise lines every once in a while, it may not be worth it for you. But if you find yourself on the Carnival cruise lines often, then I think it could be a big advantage. Again, double check how it can be stacked with casino offers if you are cruising on casino offers, because as far as I know and in my experience, only Princess is allowing you to use them on a casino comped cruise. Number 3, military onboard credit. Thank you for your service. Military onboard credit is another option to look into for additional onboard credit. And this will vary depending on the cruise line that you're on and what their current process is. So I will pull up what the Princess military onboard credit benefit is and put it here for you, and it's definitely worth checking into whatever cruise line you happen to be cruising. I think it's an option. It's an opportunity to receive onboard credit for your service, so definitely worth looking into. Next tip is first responder onboard credit. Again, this will vary by cruise line, but if you are a first responder, it is definitely a great idea to just check with your cruise line to see if this is a perk they offer as additional onboard credit. It's so beautiful out. I'm getting distracted by the view. Let me show you. It's so pretty. I'm trying not to rush this video, but I really want to get out and explore Cartagena because it looks so amazing. Next tip is a cruise line credit card. Now, I would definitely do your research, check out what the fees are, interest rates. Anytime you use credit cards, be sure to pay them off, because otherwise the perk is not a benefit if you are paying interest fees and being charged for money month over month over month. So Princess, I do know, has a Princess credit card. I believe you get $200 in onboard credit, but double check what the perks are, what the policies are for that credit card, and then decide if it's something that's worth it or not. There's a lot of credit card deals and opportunities that are a good fit depending on how you travel and how you spend money and use credit cards. That's a whole nother world. Honestly, that is a lot of detail to go through, but I do know some friends of mine that have a Princess credit card that are sailing with me right now, and they use it for their Princess cruise charges and payments. And then when they did open that credit card, they did get $200 in onboard credit. So it's just something to maybe look into to see if it could be a good fit for you. There is an app called Newegg. It's Newegg.com. Newegg. And there has been a few times where Newegg was offering Princess gift cards at 50% off. It's hard to find them and they don't come out often. So Newegg does not offer these discounted gift cards all the time, but when they do, it's 50% off. And the last time I purchased them, you could only get 2 gift cards per person. So you basically got $200 in gift cards for $100 in cost. And then you can use those gift cards to purchase a cruise or pay towards your folio when you're actually on your cruise. So technically it can be similar to like onboard credit. They're not cash, you're not able to cash them in, but you can use them as of now on your actual cruise ship towards your folio if you have a bill due. Or you can use them towards buying and paying for an upcoming cruise. So it's something to check out. Usually Facebook groups will post when Newegg is having a sale, but they sell out very quickly. So if you see that post, get in there and purchase them as quick as possible. There's been a few times where I was late to the game and wasn't able to get them. You're getting this additional gift card credit at half price, which is a really good deal. If you're finding this video informational or inspirational, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an updated episode of my experiences living full-time on cruise ships. Okay, next up is if you are conducting a tour or leading a group. So this option does not require you to be a travel advisor. This is if you are able to put together a group of people. This can be a family trip. It can be a group at your church, a group at your school. It can be any social groups that you're a part of. But if you're the person that is putting together a group cruise, then you may be eligible for a free cabin to go with that group. Depending on the cruise line, it may take 8 to 16 cabins or so in order for your room to be comped as part of that group. If you are the leader of that group cruise, you may receive some additional perks like onboard credit. They may throw in like a cocktail hour with snacks, potentially non-alcoholic or alcoholic drinks, depending on the cruise and the size of the group that you're leading. But this, I feel, is something could be a lot of fun. A lot of times they'll set up space for you. So if you want to have, a meet and greet with the group that's cruising together, or have like a trivia game or any type of, fun icebreaker games to play, or some minute to win it games, which are always a lot of fun. So think about this if you like coordinating groups and setting up people to travel together. If that's something that you really like to do, then definitely research the cruise lines to see what the eligibility requirements are for you to book a group cruise and have your cabin comped. I'm actually working on some group cruises, so stay tuned for those updates. I'm really excited to set these up. I love planning events and pulling people together to meet each other and have fun, especially people that love to travel. It's a passion of mine and why I started traveling full time and this YouTube channel. So it was to build this community of like-minded people. So stay tuned for some updates. I'll share them as soon as I have the details confirmed. Next option is to be a travel advisor. And what's really interesting about this option is the investment to actually go through the process of finding the right company. Make sure it's not an MLM type company. You want to do your research and make sure that you're aligning to a reputable travel agency company, and go through their training to get your IATA number, IATA. And once you have your IATA number, you don't necessarily need to be a full-time travel advisor as your full-time job. Now, you could if you want to. If you find that you love it, you can definitely make it a career. But I have found people and met people that get that IATA number just to save money on their own travel. And the discounts that they're able to obtain for themselves, maybe family and friends, they can book additional travel. So if you find that you're traveling a lot or have people in your life that travel often, this may be an opportunity for you to receive some discounts, not only on all travel. It's not only an opportunity to earn your fees on cruises, hotels, car rentals, etc., but a lot of cruise lines will offer FAM trips, which are familiarization trips. They want you to know their brand. They want you to learn about their company and to find people, right, that want to cruise on their cruise line. So they're not only offer FAM trips, which are generally the cruises at no cost, and sometimes cruise lines will offer free cruises based on annual sales. They may have some contests available. I think it's definitely something to look at across all cruise lines to see if this is something that could be a good fit for you and a benefit. I do know that Princess does offer a free cruise annually, I believe, if you continue to complete their certification programs and education programs each year, that you can actually get a free cruise out of it, which makes a lot of sense if you're thinking about becoming a travel advisor just for your own personal travel benefits. You may find that the benefits outweigh maybe the monthly fee that you may be charged or the percentage that the travel agency company takes from you. So try to do your research and learn more about it. At the end of this video, I'm going to talk through the things that I'm currently doing and stacking on top of each other to keep my cost as low as possible and take advantage of all the onboard credit that I'm personally eligible for at this time. Next up is to become an enrichment speaker. And I think this is a really fascinating opportunity. And I've met a few enrichment speakers along my journeys in Alaska.
ORA, My Aurora Forecast. Put that free app on your phone. It gives you percentage and probability night after night based on our real-time GPS position of our chance to see northern lights. I just checked the app, My Aurora Forecast. Guess what? Tonight, 50% chance.
When I did a cruise from New York up into Canada, like Nova Scotia, there was an enrichment speaker. We have one on our ship right now for the next 6 months that I met in the elevator. And he is staying on and talking through every port that we're visiting.
Very good. So we're 5 minutes away from getting started.
And first of all, I find these sessions really informative. So if you see an enrichment speaker, I would recommend, if you've never been to that port before, it's educational, and I think those sessions are a lot of fun. There's a little bit of sales pitch sometimes. They might have some cruise line excursions that they're talking about or promoting, but they don't cost anything, and I find that I learned something. The Panama Canal cruise on Holland America had enrichment speakers, and that was so interesting and fascinating and made that cruise so much better, reminding us of the history of the Panama Canal that I hadn't heard since grade school. So definitely join those sessions as a side tip. Now, to become an enrichment speaker, I imagine is a pretty competitive job. There is 2 companies that I've heard of. I will link them in the description. U-Star and Comba Speakers have been recommended as employers. So you don't actually work for the cruise line and you're not a cruise employee. And some of the perks of that is you get to stay in a guest cabin and you have guest privileges. So you can walk around in the guest area, you can eat in the guest main dining room and eatery, and then you have more time to get off the ship as a guest versus some of the long hours that the crew work. So there's some of those perks. You actually work for a separate vendor. You're not employed by the cruise line itself. But if you have knowledge or expertise in a particular area of the world, this could be a really good fit. Or even tips like photography or, Wi-Fi on a cruise ship. There's some enrichment speakers that talk about other topics that are not just port specific. So if you have an area of expertise that you think could add value to cruisers, then definitely check out the options and companies that hire these folks. And of course, your cruises are free and you're earning money as you're working. That's a win-win to me. You can be a destination expert that not only gives updates on a particular location, but you also lead the tours with the cruise guests that are part of the cruise line tour package. I saw this in Alaska where we had a destination speaker. He was from one of the crabbing boats that was on TV, and his story was awesome and interesting.
The whole Alaska experience. That young boy at 20 years old wanted to be a captain so bad. But what he found out about himself, I don't have that. Those guys, Captain Doug Barber of the Pavlov, several others I've worked for up there, they will tell you you're okay. They believe in that boat. They can see past that danger.
And then he actually led and hosted a princess cruise to go on one of the crabbing boats that had been kind of refitted for passengers and guests versus just crabbing. Had like a gift shop and a restaurant, and you could kind of take this tour. And I thought that was really interesting. So you're talking about the particular location and your personal experiences added a lot. It was really fascinating. And then you also have this expert person going on the tours with you. So I thought that was really cool, and that would be a fun job too. Now, usually I find that this person was just coming on and giving this presentation and then going on the tours for that day. I don't think that they stayed on the cruise ships, but it's a way to earn some free nights on a cruise ship and be paid not just for the time that you're speaking, but also to operate the tour on land or on the water through the cruise line. Next up, let's talk about cruise line loyalty programs. From what I understand, there are some cruise lines that do offer free cruises with their top tier loyalty benefits. So I believe on Royal Caribbean, if you're sailing over 700 nights, which is a lot, you do get a free cruise. I do believe that there are some annual free cruises that are part of the loyalty program that do not involve any type of casino offers. From what I understand, this does not exist with Princess, but I do believe that Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, and Celebrity Cruise Lines all offer free cruises based on either the number of cruises that you've booked cumulative or a particular tier status that you're on. You're eligible, for example, for one free cruise a year. So definitely research that particular perk, especially if you're at a higher tier in your loyalty programs with a particular cruise line, to see if you're eligible, and be sure to book that free cruise. That's something you definitely don't want to miss out on. Okay, next up is sweepstakes. There are sweepstakes that do offer free cruises. Now, this is one where the odds are pretty low that you're going to win a sweepstake of a free cruise, so I wouldn't count on this, but a lot of times it's free to enter these sweepstakes. I have known people that have won free cars, lots of jewelry and clothing, and this person entered a lot of sweepstakes back in the day and won a lot of free things. So if you like sweepstakes, you have some time on your hands, a lot of times they cost nothing, so you might want to look up free cruise sweepstakes and test your luck. Doesn't cost anything, but I think the odds of winning a free cruise are pretty low compared to some of these other perks and strategies. Casino drawings. So sometimes the casino is offering a drawing. Sometimes they're free. Sometimes they cost money to enter. but you might want to see what type of free cruise events might be going on with your particular sailing, especially if there's no cost to enter. Can't hurt. Somebody has to win. Might as well be you. Bingo sometimes offers free cruises to the final winner. So check into, bingo. I've never won bingo. I seem so close to a free cruise. I was like one number away and somebody won it right before me. But I was so close. And I was really happy for this gentleman because it was his birthday. So I kind of felt like he had an edge and deserved it. And I was very happy that they won a free cruise. But on a Holland America cruise, the actual winner of the final bingo was a free cruise. So check to see. Again, bingo usually costs money and it's an investment. So it's a risk. If you don't win, you'll end up out that money. So just decide if the fun is worth the investment, and you might win a free cruise playing bingo. Deal or No Deal is another game that may offer a free cruise as a perk. So in addition to bingo and the casino, again, I think the odds are pretty low that you win that game, that you get chosen to actually play the game, but then to actually win a free cruise. I put this one at the very bottom of the list because I think the odds of these last strategies are so low. Again, if you have free time and you have nothing to lose, sure, why not? It can't hurt, but I wouldn't bank on getting a free cruise through these particular strategies. Okay, now let's talk about what strategies do I use. So if you've been following my channel, you probably already know that I am cruising on casino comp offers. In addition to cruising on casino comp offers, I also taken full advantage of the future cruise deposits. I always have a few, 2 to 3 on credit, and I won't book a cruise without using a future cruise deposit. In fact, I make sure the person booking it is booking it with a future cruise deposit. I remind them to make sure they don't miss it, because it's been missed a couple times, which is frustrating because you're basically just leaving free money on the table. One of my pet peeves is wasting time or money. So be sure to inform the person booking your cruise. If you're booking it through the cruise line, or if you're online booking it, be sure to check that box to use your future cruise deposit so you get that onboard credit. And again, with Princess, you can stack that future cruise deposit on top of your casino comp offers. So that's something to definitely take advantage of. In my opinion, that one, there's no risk. You'll get that deposit back 100% if you don't use it. Again, that's their current policy, so double check if that changes. It could change at any time, so you always want to double check these policies before you spend any money. That's just a good tip. That's just a good life tip. I do use stock perks, shareholder benefits. I purchased 100 shares when I first started cruising, and back then the price was a little lower than it is right now. So I've made some money on that stock, and I've definitely more than paid for my initial investment of those 100 shares. And Carnival Cruise Line is now paying $15 dividend on 100 shares annually. Now that dividend will change and it could go away. It went away, but now it's back. And so there is a $15 dividend, which is not a lot of money. But if dividends are part of your strategy and you find yourself cruising often on a Carnival Cruise Line where you can stack this perk, could be a win-win for you. I will, again, do a full video on the shareholder benefit through an app called Stock Perks that the company uses. It's really pretty simple. I'll do a complete demonstration for you so that if you do decide to go down that path, you can follow along the steps pretty easily and take full advantage of that benefit. I've used Newegg a few times when the gift cards have gone on sale. I haven't seen them lately. I need to see if I can maybe set up an alert from Newegg or some AI tip or trick to let me know if and when those go on sale, because there is a limit and they do sell out. And to me, that's a no-brainer. 50% off is basically free money. So if you are sailing, do check Newegg and see. There could be other cruise lines that have these gift cards on sale as well. So check that out. I'm not paying full price for the gift card, but it's worth it if they're 25% or 50% off and you're already going to be sailing on that cruise line. I did actually work on getting my travel advisor IATA number, which I went through the process. I went through the initial training. However, I have not gone through the princess training, nor have I taken advantage of having that perk and benefit. And I need to do that. It's on my priority list of action items to get done so that I can take advantage of having that discount, or basically you're getting commission on your own travel. And it's something that I would love to be able to offer to my friends and family, and any discounts that I can find on our upcoming group cruises. So I will definitely provide more updates. Let me know in the comments if you want to know more about the process and company that I chose and what I think about it so far. I've met other people cruising that also do this for their own travel. And of course, people that are full-time travel agents, like for Expedia and other travel companies. They've had events on the cruise lines before. There are hundreds to even thousands of people, which is kind of cool. Please leave comments if you have any other non-casino tips of ways for people to save money, earn onboard credit, or even earn a free cruise. I love to learn from this community. I think you all have such amazing experiences and advice, and it means a lot to all of us. So please do share if you do have any tips or updates, or learn anything new about the tips that I've offered. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching this video. It truly means the world to me. I appreciate your support, and I love the community that we're building. You guys are absolutely amazing. So if you see me on a cruise one day, be sure to say hi. Thanks.